We're back. And we're back. Just continue as if nothing had happened.
Tension, paranoia, and faction pressure. Tension at the table, just like any other game that you've done, comes from uncertainty and how you wrap the timeline around your characters. We talked a little bit about it in the beginning when we talked about the timeline changing around your characters when you change the past, when they come back, and you add that at the table. Greg, give me an example of, this is where we start pulling our game master stuff out of our bodies. Give me an example of creating tension at the table that you would use in this type of instance.
Well,
I'm going to let you guys stretch your muscles here.
So basically, in the last thing I did at Gen Con with basically as a companion to Tyranny of Dragons, but it was out in Spelljammer type of planescape setting. So they went from one setting in Sigil and teleporting into a new area to find their next step.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, due to they had like a universal glitch, was making them constantly regenerate. Instead of landing when they were supposed to, they were dropping from 500 feet in the air. That's where I ended it until the next session.
Okay. How would you create tension in the Vanguard doing that if you were traveling through time? So, like, let's say you have a set of operatives that are going back to stop Madame Curie from creating, discovering radiation.
The radiation would mess up the time dilation.
Okay, you could do that.
And then it would cause a fluctuation and
messes with the gear, messes with all this other kind of stuff, and they have to. They're guaranteed to jump back at a specific time. They have to stay there for a specific time, so they're constantly fighting with it.
Or they have to make adjustments as they're traveling.
There you go. James, how would you do it? And from a GM standpoint, from the Vanguard,
I'll talk about it like very wide and broad because that's the easiest to just cheat and use.
That's fine.
Ticking clocks always easy.
Going backwards or
countdown timers.
The bombs going off at this time. We have to have this. We have to have the things we need complete by this point in time. Otherwise, we've scrapped the mission. I think another way is introducing. You introduce odd elements. It's already built into the game that you show up. The building that looked like it wasn't on fire is actively on fire.
Yeah.
So you just pre-add that tension. They drop into a bad situation that they didn't think was necessary.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened in one of the things I was running at my table.
Yeah. And the media res is very powerful.
It's so good.
Yeah. If you do it well.
I don't like planning steps. They tend to take a lot of time, and people get like analysis paralysis. And I'm like, no, we're not. You just go, and we'll figure it out as we go.
Lesser of two evils is always a good one. We do this, it's going to blow up. We do this, it's still going to blow up, but it'll save 3 people's lives. The lesser of two. Doing that is also a way to create tension, and with time travel, it really makes, we're going to jump back, but somebody's got to stay. There's all kinds of different things that you can do.
The Star Trek I have to be in that thing.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different ways to create tension at the table, and the more that you create with the Vanguard, the easier it'll get, because you'll get used to that time travel.
I think the biggest time pressure that we have is when you jump into a time.
Is the time anchor.
Is the time anchor. Okay, I arrived at this point, I have 6 hours, and I need to be back here at 6 hours to go back. Because if I am not here in 6 hours, I am stuck here forever. Yeah. And I get to live out the rest of my life in 1856, as a Russian soldier. Oh, great.
When we go over time jumping just a little bit before we go, while we're talking about pressure and stuff like that, when in the game, it's built to where you go from 2256, any time 100 years and before backwards. So you could go back to prehistoric times, you can throw whatever you want to, and it's all denoted in the mission that you designed for your players. We're going to jump back to 1986 to stop Wolfman Jack from doing this radio broadcast. You know, on one thing that's probably engaged you have occurred in a number of years. That just came to me. But you know, for this, because of his radio broadcast, it's going to cause so many people to join the military, and it's going to cause this thing with Ronald Reagan and the war, and you know, you could just cascade a whole bunch of stuff that would happen. But the time anchor is all set in the mission when you go. It's hooked to your characteristics chip, so all of your operatives jump to 1987, and they have, you already know how many hours or how many minutes that you can go before you have to be back here to do things. So you immediately got table tension. We've got
built in a ticking clock.
We've got 37 minutes to finish this. That's all they gave us.
So the anchor literally is a window portal that opens up.
And you go through, typically in a faction environment, you sit in chairs and they strap you in and they put your gear on your lap. And when you jump somewhere, you get there sitting down so you don't fall over or go into a wall or something like that. Mm-hmm. So typically when you appear in front of Hitler's bunker, you're sitting in the gravel with your gear on your belt, and you just stand up and grab your gear and you're ready. So that way you don't fall over wherever you're going. Don't jump and you're on your butt. You can change it for whatever you want to do, on your side or standing up or fall over, or typically it's a lot less intrusive for your players when that happens.
Mm-hmm.
But
I wonder if most of those places are indoors, because it's bad if it's outside and everybody sees you.
I've never had my
wanna
players.
move out.
I've never had my players jump back in time to peer at a wall or something like that. That wasn't supposed to be there.
Not fun.
No, it's not
boring.
fun. It's unnecessary to do those kinds of things.
I was thinking the players jumping into a parachute and
You can do that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you're supposed to jump out of a plane and you've already jumped out of the plane and and you got to pull the chute and they pull the chute. You know, that kind of thing. You could definitely create tension that way. But yeah, be inventive with it. Or change it however you want to. It's really cool.
I don't know how to operate my parachute.
Whoops.
Figure
Now
it out.
you've got to figure it out.
Tension.
You've got one, but
Which handle do I pull? And let's hope it's not the one that's holding up, that's keeping it strapped to my body.
Yeah.
so those are ways to create tension, and it talks a little bit about the time anchors, and everything is in the book. It talks about time anchors, fraction pressure.
Hidden agendas, right?
Well, I don't know. I don't want to go too deep into hidden agendas. I mean, we talked a little bit about it, like
Well, I mean, just the not
the crumbs that are trying to overthrow the Chronoguard, that are hiring them on a weekly basis to go do the dirty work.
Sure.
You could do that. You could have your table be the crumbs, and they're just like, the Chronoguard are the NPCs, and they keep dragging them back.
So it's
to do
kind of
different
having your
missions.
thought process, so you're not going to run it against the red
Red line
the
pulse.
red line pulse all the time. It may they may be like a through line, but there'll be other different factions. Maybe people trying to go fix the same thing. You run into them because you're trying to fix it right, and they're not fixing it right. And
yeah, but it's something you have to make sure that all the players are on board with is that you're going to be playing with differing goals between different players, and such that players may backstab one another and things like that. Some games like Paranoia, that's assumed.
Yeah.
Other games, people are so used to, the D&D. We became friends when we met at the tavern. That if you're going to have that flooded, that's worked out.
It all
that's
depends.
session zero.
It all depends upon however you want to do it. Like in the games that I'm running with Dave and Mike, everybody has their own agenda because they're all faction-based opponent. Phantom Synopsis working with, the Chronoguard and the Grey Vault. We all come together to, build this house, but, the Phantom Synops are they sitting on the side hiding all the nails? Or, this guy's over here, messing with the hammers or whatever it is. Everybody's got their own agenda according to whatever backstory they have.
Yeah.
But it sounds
But
like
it's all
there-
collaborative at the same time.
Yeah, it sounds like there is a limit of how much intrigue there can be.
Yeah.
In terms of backstabbing, it would be like a 4 on a scale of 10 in the game you're running.
Yeah.
Um,
Because it's not conducive to help finish the thing, you know.
Right,
you know,
but
we gotta-
but you could ramp it up and have it be the main focus of a campaign.
Sure. Yeah.
And run it as a 9 of 10.
Yeah, you transfer into the you go back to 1944, and your Phantom Synops and your Phantom Synops and 3 of these guys over here are Iron Pact, and we're going to work together to finish this off. And you guys go back, and Phantom Synops sends you back, and the Iron Pact are standing there, and there's 16 Phantom Synopses waiting for you there, and they imprison the Iron Pact, and you know. There's your tension. There's your things. Now we got to figure it out. You know, not only we got a timer that we got to maintain before we go back. Now we're being held by the Phantom Synops that we thought we were working with. So come up all that stuff on the fly. I mean, faction tension is one of the main driving factors in Vanguard, but it, you know, there's always backstories and stuff to that too.
I'm running the Gray Vault, you know, the hacker. Yeah, I keep offering to help these guys out with their computer systems, but no one takes me up on it. I don't know why.
And he's using words like backdoors and all that kind of stuff. So
Oh, you don't use that in front of the normies.
Yeah,
no.
Just like, hey, I can make the security better.
But you know, there was one incident where you know there was a situation, and they had me jump on a console to help them out, and one of the main NPCs was foolish enough to say his password in front of me. So
So now he's got backdoors into the Chronoguard mainframe.
well, I
system and
did,
stuff
but
like
now
that.
we're on a different prime line, and they're not there anymore.
See how things change really quick?
Yeah.
So let's, if you've got a book, go ahead and open it to page 142. I'm going to talk a little bit about mission design and outlines. I'm going to skip forward a little bit here. Some of this stuff I've noticed now is a little bit repetitive too, because we've been bouncing all over the place talking about events and different things. Am I still in frame? Good. Got my noggin? Yeah, Erica.
See, you're centered up.
You're doing
Set
great,
it
King.
Remember, polish your forehead.
Oh, no kidding. I mean, yeah. Look at that. I probably got a gleam coming off my forehead.
No,
I look like a news announcer.
You're glowing.
Today in West Germany. I do voices. All right, so page 142 talks about mission design outlines. I really wanted to hit on this, and page 140 and 141 we'll talk about. Oh, let's talk about it now. The Chronoguard and Artifacts. Let's talk about page 140. Let's go back to that one. The only faction in the Vanguard protocol, and I had to give them a leg up because they're so responsible for the Prime line that they're totally obsessed about it, is the Chronoguard. The Chronoguard have the technology, and they're the only faction that has the technology to notice and apprehend artifacts within the timeline. Artifacts in the timeline allow them to be able to do different things within the timeline and repair nodes, which we're going to talk about. But artifacts can only become artifacts at a specific point in time. Let me go back to the Madame Curie reference. And artifacts are usually objects, you know, like,
like
a
her
pin or a book or something like that. Let's go back to Madame Curie. Let's say that the Chronoguard recognized that Madame Curie wears a pin on her, you know, at the moment she discovers what radiation is before she dies, kind of thing. Let's just say that that could become an artifact at a specific point in time and give the Chronoguard a leg up on how to do things and shut down like Iron Pact nodes and stuff like that. So they look at this specific point in time and they say, okay, at this one specific second, we're going to send operatives back there to get this artifact.
Okay.
And so they go back at that one, and then, you know, that's part of the mission. And then somebody else one of the other factions realized that what the Chronoguard's trying to do, and they try to say, well, why are they going back to this one specific point in time? Because immediately when you jump back, you breach the timeline. Even if you're not going to do anything, and every faction can see you do it. Every time you breach the timeline, no matter what faction you are, all of the other faction can see the timeline and read when you jumped.
Sure.
So they can go back to the same time and see, okay, what are you doing? Or they can read the timeline and say, okay, you're trying to change this. So they're going to jump back and try and say, that's the premise of you creating missions and running the game. So the Chronoguard go back to, you know, whatever time it was when Madame Curie discovered radiation, and they want this pin. And then you've got points of contention where other factions are trying to stop them. And they accidentally kill Madame Curie, and so now they got to repair the timeline, and, you know, things go awry. But artifacts are things that I gave the Chronoguard, and it details them out here on this page, that allows them to safely take that artifact from the timeline without disrupting things, because it's in that point in time,
Yeah.
and use that to their advantage to be able to, the Chronoguard can shut down nodes and stop ripple effects. You know, say they did kill Madame Curie too early. They could have used that artifact to stop the ripples that happened in the timeline to make normalcy and keep the prime line. Does that make sense to everybody?
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. So that's one thing that I gave the Chronoguard that no other faction has. So, you know, a couple of missions that I wrote, I had the Iron Pact stumble on a couple of artifacts. They happened to notice some weird signatures and stuff and jumped back. And then one of the things that the Chronoguard came back to stop them, because for some reason they found accidentally one of the artifacts, like an oil drum or something like that. It depends upon what it was. So there's a premise right there for writing something. But I just wanted to briefly talk about artifacts and how they work. They can be
What about-
anything that you want in your current family, but
How about the Spear of Longinus?
I'm sorry?
An item like the Spear of Longinus. The
Oh,
Spear of
Oh,
Destiny.
yeah, the one that stabbed
Spear-
Christ?
Yeah, the Spear of Destiny.
Yeah, the Spirit of Destiny. If you want that, sure.
Could that be like considered like an artifact, a powerful artifact?
Even a marble from a kid playing on a street in Brooklyn in 1923 could be an artifact.
Oh, okay.
It depends upon how
So it can be
you want to
anything.
tie,
It's how it ties to that.
how you
win,
ties to
the
your
win event.
timeline and how things are going.
Okay.
Say they need that specific marble, rolls out and trips a mailman who slides and bam, he loses, and all
So the
three of the
artifact
letters
causes-
that he was
the
supposed to
artifact
deliver.
triggers a butterfly effect.
Yes.
Three of the letters that he was supposed to deliver fall down and go into a storm drain that happened to do for a government contract that had to, I mean, you could just roll with some of that. And it all came back to that one marble that turned in the artifact. And the Chronoguard have the technological to be able to see that
To, like,
artifact
reverse
for what it
engineer.
is.
Yeah.
Butterfly effect.
They can see that artifact for what it is.
So it allows them to alter fixed
Yeah.
points in time based off of the artifact in that sense.
One thing to do the artifact is don't try to take the artifact and work out the butterfly effect. Take your end result
And come back to
and
it.
go backwards. What caused this? And just reverse engineering each one till you get back to that marble.
Got that.
Yep.
Exactly. Good point.
So, like, what would have happened had, instead of Edison stealing Tesla's designs, what if Tesla had gotten the upper hand? You know, where would we be today? And how do I work back and figure out, okay, what was the nail in the coffin that made Tesla, you know, give up and go insane or whatever, and you know, lose all his credibility, and Edison to take over? And if I take that artifact and steal it, now suddenly we have a realm where Tesla's inventions are the big thing instead of Edison's, you know, and you know, how do we use that to help our faction?
But you have to remember that the Chronoguard wouldn't do that. They
would not,
They wouldn't
no.
take an artifact to affect the timeline.
No.
They would take an artifact and it would not affect the timeline, and they would use that artifact to fix
Yeah.
something else.
They would use it to cement.
Yeah.
Yes.
But taking the example of Edison and
Tesla.
might the Chronoguard take an object from Edison's lab, and you having known that Tesla it's been modified so that Tesla has achieved dominance over Edison, and they use the artifact from from Edison's lab to shape Tesla's output such that Tesla is creating the same things that Edison did, and so that the net result
Is the same.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what the Chronoguard would do with that.
Yep.
It would change the timeline, but it would be repaired at the same time
Yeah.
to maintain the prime line.
Yep. And it could be along the lines of, you know, oh, hey, the Iron Guard, you know, figured out that, you know, if they do this, then Tesla will get the upper hand and everything will change. We need to send some people back to preserve the timeline. And we happen to know that there's an artifact that's involved in this. So, you know,
Gotcha.
yeah.
So in the book, on page 142, we've got mission design outline. As a game master, what I did was, at the behest of Mike, because he came up with a really good idea, and he kept adding stuff to the friggin' book. You need to come up with a way to teach people how to create missions. And I know, after I grimaced for a few moments, I was like, you know what? You're right. Because there's probably no way on Earth without some sort of an outline how you would make a mission for the Vanguard. And so what I did is I came up with 14 steps. I know it seems like a lot, but they cover everything that you would need to make a mission. So, starting with number 1, you would choose a moment in time. So I'm going to go around the table just really quick, and then we'll go to the actual thing that we're going to do if we get time to do it. Greg, give me a moment in time.
Why'd you pick me first? Dale and Earnhardt winning the Indy 500 or something.
Okay, Dale Earnhardt wins the Indy 500. How are we going to turn that into a mission?
Well, basically,
Pick the moment in time. Define why this moment matters. Number 2.
because it maybe inspired some guy to really go out there and invent
Be his
it.
own thing, or invent a new engine or something like
Yeah.
that. Okay. Number 3, establish the historical pressure. Jason, identify what's already going wrong or about to go wrong at this moment that creates the urgency. This guy's going to create a different engine based off of what he saw with Daryl Earnhardt.
Oh, was that?
Is that what we said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I misheard that.
Well, what did you think he said?
Something about this guy is going to
be inspired.
We can change it.
be inspired, but I didn't hear engine. I just heard be inspired.
Be
Yeah, that's
inspired to
what
what?
To
Be-
basically make a new engine.
to make a new engine.
Or
Okay.
maybe make transparent aluminum.
Okay, number 3, establish the historical pressure. Identify what's already going wrong.
This engine is electric, not gas.
There you go. Okay. Number 4, determine the point of intervention. Decide where the ops can actually realistically interfere with the events without immediately collapsing the timeline. When does this happen? What year is this?
I have 80s.
90s.
Okay, let's say 91.
Yeah.
Okay.
So goes back to the beginning of the NASCAR season.
Okay. At a specific point in time.
The beginning of the NASCAR season.
Okay. Define the mission type. Is this going to be a correction to the timeline? Is it going to be a control of the timeline? They're going to change something to make him succeed, or they're going to change something to make him stop him. How is what he's going to do with the engine change the timeline? And is it the operative's opportunity to stop him or help him? Is it a retrieval? In other words, is this guy making the engine an operative who's went back, who's inspired to make the engine because he wants to change the timeline? Is it a suppression type of a mission where you want to get him to stop doing that?
Like what's
So
the way
what is
average
it?
time
What kind of a mission are we going to create?
We'll make a classic control.
A control mission.
Yeah. So we want to control who wins the Indy 500
Okay, and this.
and make it not Dale Earnhardt.
Okay. Number 6, identify the timeline and the node. What's the specific node tied to this timeline, this movement, and determine its stability? David?
The node?
Yes. It's probably something that's pretty abstract at this point. What type of a node is it? We already know it's a control, so this is a disruption node. In other words, we're changing the timeline based on...
Well, what's a node again?
A node is actually the ripple point, the fracture in the timeline
Okay.
that people see when events are actually changed.
Okay.
Remember I said when you change something in the timeline, all factions see it? You're creating a node, a time
So is
node.
it node like that window portal that I was talking about earlier?
A lot of
Or-
people express it as something physical that you can see, like a shiny
bump.
hole or a bump. Some people express it as a black dot with ripples coming off of it, just waves of energy.
Yeah, like in the
or
Terminator
time.
series, whenever the Terminator would come back.
Oh, like the bubble and
the
stuff?
bubble. Would that be like a node?
However you want to describe it in your world is great.
Tippy.
Swirling little vortex, a small black hole. Some people have expressed the circle that's in the middle of the book here as a time node. You know, it depends. Depends on how you want to describe it to your players. It could not even be something physical. It could just be something that's peripheral. It's only detectable by your gear, and nobody can see it. This is the fracture in time. This is the space anomaly or whatever it is.
Clouds look like dragons.
Yeah.
That's the node.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and the node would be like the garage.
But that's the node. So identify the timeline in the node. So we know that it's going to be at this specific point in this garage at the Indy 500.
Yep.
Daytona 500.
No, it was Indy
It was
500.
Indy
It was
500.
Indy
Okay, it's the
500.
Indy 500.
Yep.
And we already know that node. Okay, so number 7, establish the objective. Clearly define what success looks like and what must be accomplished to do the mission. That's based from perception.
Yeah.
Are the operatives going back to assist this other person to create the engine to, for lack of a better term, mess up the time? Or are they going back to stop it to keep the prime line?
Yeah.
What's the objective?
Keep the prime line, not
Yeah.
create an electric
Okay.
engine.
Okay, there you go.
So we're like stealing.
Sure. So number 7. Number 8,
Snatching
anybody?
engine.
Determine the stakes.
Decide what's at risk if the mission succeeds, partially succeeds, or fails.
The oil industry would collapse.
Okay, what's a partial success?
There's a competition between electric and gas that sparks a resource war
For lithium.
Sure.
for two different
Salt
competing-
batteries, something.
Yeah, between lithium and petroleum,
Mhm.
there's now an arms race for energy.
Okay.
That would be a partial success.
What about total fail? They fail and they get yanked back to the time node to 2256, and you've got a lot of writing to do. What happens? What's the
Electric cars
fail?
take over. Elon Musk becomes president of the world, and
Buys Great Britain.
yeah, buys up Great Britain, takes Greenland.
But you get you get the gist, right?
builds walls,
Yeah, yeah.
makes other people pay for it.
Number 9. Yeah. Number 9, assign faction interest. Identify which factions are going to be involved in this. Your players probably already either have, or maybe this is a one-shot where you have to create the factions. What factions are actually doing this? Since you know that Chronoguard basically would try and repair the timeline, every other faction's got their own interests. Let's say this is a Phantom Synops. This is a subterfuge. This is a way they're doing this from behind the green curtain kind of thing, where they don't want people to see them doing this, but at the same time it's happening. And so the other factions that are coming in have to try and stop this, and they don't know who's doing it.
Anyway,
It's Phantom Synops.
so there's a Phantom Synops operative who is planting the seeds of this idea into the main character by way of maybe she's posing as his girlfriend and slipping him ideas at night. You know,
There you go. And she's total Phantom Synops.
Mhm.
She's just invisible, you
Yep.
know, the whole thing.
So yeah,
So you go back in period clothing where you're wearing like wife beaters and shorts and boots.
Robot girl. Cyborg.
She's
It's a cyborg.
And she's a cyborg.
Sex what?
hey, you know,
Number 10, define the opposition and the obstacles.
it's
What
happening
stands in the
Japan.
operative's way? What stands in the operative's way? We talked about the enemies, the environmental hazards,
The crew.
the crew,
Pit crew,
yeah,
the-
her.
Yeah.
She's hired
The other-
several people.
The other NASCAR racers,
The other NASCAR racers. See?
Coca-Cola.
There you go. Yeah, the sponsors that are on the outside of the car. There's all kinds of different
Some
things.
could be like sleeper agents. So some of the pit crew could be sleeper agents for the crew.
Yeah.
Number 11. Mike? Don Mike?
Plant entry and extraction conditions.
Plant entry and extraction conditions. How are they going to get in? Where are they going to pop in?
Yep.
Where are they going to pop out? What are the conditions? How long are they going to stay there? Okay. Introduce complications. Add at least one expected factor that can escalate more tension. I think we got a lot of tension going on already.
Yeah.
The truck's coming to pick up the car tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like
There's
in the
a
morning.
lot of cash on the line, and it's got to be done by tomorrow, kind of thing. It's planned. Set resolution paths. Outline possible outcomes beyond a simple success or failure. In other words, if it's total, super, colossal success, what happens? It doesn't have to be a factor, but you can put it in if you want. You know. And then again, of course, number 14, campaignish. Does this connect to a larger timeline? Does this connect to another mission? Is this going to feed into something else, kind of thing? So if you go through these 14 steps, you can basically, like we just did, we created a mission
Yep.
on the fly. You know,